Hello and welcome back to another episode of White Album 2. We are playing through the closing chapter and we are on Mari-san's route. After a pretty awkward sleepover with Setsuna out at the, I guess we would call it the ski lodge, Take and Io were in the other room, we were left to our own devices, and finally, Haruki told Setsuna about Mari-san.
私が笑えなくなってしまってからもずっと嬉しそうだったもんね。でもそれは私に笑いかけてたんじゃなかった。今ここにいない彼女に話しかけてたんだよね。だから分かっちゃった。今の春樹くんのそばにいるべきなのはこの人なんだって。春樹くんの話からだけでも伝わってくる。明るくて正しくて頼もしくて可愛い人なんだって。そんな素敵な人なら春樹くんを笑わせてくれる、幸せにしてくれるって分かっちゃった。春樹くんを元の春樹くんに戻してくれる。3年前の明るくて正しくて頼もしい春樹くんに、私には絶対にできないことをしてくれる。
And someone from the outside kind of pulling in and pulling Haruki out of that vicious cycle is so necessary.
だったら私はもう春樹くんから卒業するしかないって分かっちゃった。ねえ春樹くん、さっき私ね、あなたがその人を語ってた時の夢見るような視線が妬ましかったんだよ。だってあなたは私のことを思い出してそんな顔をしてはくれない。あれはあなたが上総を語る時の顔、本当に好きな女の子を語る時の顔だから。
Oh, I mean, he did have that face for you at one point. I truly believe that.
まだできたんだね。できるようになったんだね、その人に出会ってから。ねえ春樹くん、私はやっぱりあなたを照らす光になれなかった。あなたに当たるべき光を遮る存在でしかない。だから離れていきます。
Oh, Setsuna.
さよなら春樹くん。ずいぶん遅くなっちゃったけど、私あなたを振ってあげる。だから頑張って立ち直ってね。そして素敵な恋をしてね。ねえ春樹くん、春樹くん。
Take care of Setsuna.
せつな。今春樹からメールが。
あいつどこに？
帰った。
He's moving on. He's moving forward with his life.
帰ったってどうやって？
駅まで歩いて行って、それから始発に乗って東京に向かうって。
なんでそんな。あいつ何考えて。
あのね、私ね、春樹くんのこと振ったの。もう顔も見たくないって、二度と会わないって言ったの。
せつな。
だから春樹くん帰っちゃった。大切な人が待ってる東京に帰って行っちゃった。
I'm glad she's saying this out loud though, otherwise Take and Io would be so mad at Haruki.
ごめん。ごめんね。私のせいで旅行台無しにしちゃって。二人にも嫌な思いさせちゃったね。
竹谷、あんたは外に。
わかった。
やだな。別に大丈夫だよ。
まだ朝まで時間あるからゆっくり休んで、せつなちゃん。
竹谷くん。
さあ、せつな。あんたももう寝なさい。
いいよ。
明日目が覚めたらこっちから連絡するから。それまではそっとしといて。
ああ、おやすみ。
That's good of them. That's smart of them. Oof, I'm gonna start crying. That's really rough. It needed to be done though. It should have been done a long time ago.
あなた今どこにいるって？
だからもうすぐ駅です。長野県のローカル線の。
I can clearly hear the flabbergasted voice coming from the other side of the line. It's almost 6 o'clock in the morning. There wasn't any sign of dawn replacing the night in these snowy mountains, and the powdery snow around me was far from gentle as it danced about. My footsteps make crunching sounds as I walk across the snow in the deep darkness.
3月には戻ってくるって言ったじゃない。なんで家を開けてるのよ。
すいません。
I can hear a loud noise through the receiver of my phone, unbefitting of where I am at the moment.
ああ、いや、春樹くんに当たっても仕方ない。出発当日になってから言い出すバカが悪いんだから。あいつね、私のところにも全然連絡よこさずに。
Instead of it being tense due to it being early in the morning, Sawako-san was in the state of irritation in which all she could do was rattle on with her quick talking. But it's not like I don't understand her feelings. In fact, I can feel them through the core of my very being.
マリさんと連絡取れました。
電源切ってる。このまま出発まで出ない可能性大ね。
やっぱりそうですよね。
I hurried out of my lodging and headed for the station. I tried many times to find places with cell coverage, but I could only find the sounds of announcements coming from machines. So, in other words, I have reason to believe that that text was Mari-san's last notice.
ねえ、春樹くん。もう一度だけ確認させて。
何をですか？
マミに会ってくれる気あるのよね。もう一度話してくれる気。
もちろんです。
Everything I've done until today would be meaningless otherwise. I've cut off my own escape route. I've acted upon various assumptions, and right now, I'm at the mercy of the cold as I'm walking through the snow. And as for Setsuna, I've cut her off, and with her, I've cut off a part of myself. It still hurts. Even if I don't know what part it is I've cut off, the exposed nerves of the wound are still throbbing in pain. Setsuna's tear-stained face from that moment surfaces in my mind every time I close my eyes. Even though it's only been an hour since I parted with her. I can no longer remember the way her face looked when she smiled.
だから今から東京に向かいます。マリさんに会いに行きます。
But the only thing I can do right now is move forward. I have to act as a professional and fully functioning member of society and produce results, regardless of what stands in my way, no matter how sly, tactless, or despicable I have to be to do so. She's the textbook definition of a professional, and she's taught me by example.
分かった。だったら私の方もなんとか頑張ってみる。なんとしてでもあいつを引き止めてみせる。
ありがとうございます。でも大丈夫ですよ。
どうしてそう思うの？だってあなた今長野県なんでしょ？
駅に着きました。なんとか始発には間に合いそうです。
After walking down the twists and turns of the mountain road and eventually reaching roads that definitely feel paved, I finally lay eyes on the station.
これから電車で移動するつもり？
2回乗り継げば中央線に出られます。さっきネットで調べたんですけど、12時過ぎには成田に着けるみたいです。
Fitting of the remote location, the roundabout in front of the station didn't have a single taxi. And the shutters of a small souvenir store were of course closed.
だからなんとかギリギリ間に合いそうです。マリさんがゲートをくぐる前にほんの数分だけでも。
That is cutting it super close though.
電車が時刻表通りに動けばね。
なんとかなるでしょう。こっちの電車は雪に強いし。
The shutters to the station have finally opened, and I can see the figure of an attendant at the ticket gate.
あなた何も知らないの？
知らないって。
However, Sawako-san is responding to my optimistic tone in the exact opposite manner.
そうよね。長野にいるんだものね。
沢子さん。
東京が今どうなってるかなんて知らなくても不思議じゃないわよね。
東京が。
繰り返しご案内いたします。ただいま降雪のため中央線は全線運転を見合わせております。
それも今年
振り替え輸送ですが、同じく降雪による影響で各交通機関も軒並み運転を見合わせております。ご迷惑をおかけいたしますが、このままお待ちいただくか払い戻しをご利用いただきますようお願いいたします。
Snow in Tokyo is not all that common. At least not piled up. As I look at the sky above me, I can see that the clouds seem to extend toward Tokyo as well.
もし特急とかで東京までたどり着いたとしても、そこから成田まで帝国通りに行けるかわからない。
そんな。
However, the fact that it's snowing at a ski resort and the fact that it's snowing at the capital mean completely different things. Basically, the transportation network of Tokyo, which does not expect snow apart from once or twice a year, can be paralyzed due to unexpected events like this. Particularly, the stations usually have an overcrowded schedule to begin with, so a single delay would lead to a second or a third. I just can't imagine how much delay I'd be looking at before I could finally arrive at Narita. I didn't even have an hour's worth of leeway for this task from the very beginning, but even though I could say my situation is critical,
でもこれは逆にチャンスかもしれない。この雪だから飛行機も飛ばないかもしれないし、飛んだとしても帝国を大幅に遅れる可能性が。
I mean, here's to hoping, I guess.
はい。
Should this unexpected situation give me fear, or should it give me hope? Whichever of those is the case, am I doomed without a means to catch up to Mari-san at the moment?
頑張って、必死でマリを追いかけて、あの子を捕まえてあげてよ。
成田国際空港をご利用のお客様にご連絡いたします。ただいま当空港は積雪のため全便の発着を見合わせております。
Woohoo!
大変申し訳ありませんが、復旧までもうしばらくお待ち願います。
that's a relief.
天は誰の味方なんだろうな。
Time continues to tick by with uncertainty as I anxiously race against it. It must be really tough to be sitting in this train for hours on end, knowing that, like, you can't do anything to make it go faster. It's almost 9 o'clock. There's only 4 hours left before Mari-san departs. But the time I have left is even less than that. For the time being, things have been proceeding on schedule. As planned, I've made 2 transfers on the local line and hopped onto the express train on the Chuo line toward my destination. But it's from here on out that the battle truly begins. I can feel my neck gradually stiffening over the steep hurdle Mari-san set up for me, as well as the various unexpected circumstances. She only contacted me with half a day to go. I'm dealing with a very long distance from my destination. And there's also the fact that it's snowing in Tokyo right now. If you want to be with me, then show me you can get over these hurdles. Is that what you're trying to tell me, Mari-san? Why are you saying such selfish things now, of all times? Even though you were so happy to have my homemade cooking? Even though you were so happy about celebrating my first assignment? Even though you were letting out moans of pleasure while we were in each other's arms? How am I supposed to accept that selfishness of yours? No. You have a lot to make up for, Haruki. You messed up with her big time. So this is not selfishness, this is more like retribution. Given that I've been one-sidedly manipulating you all this time until now. There you go. How exactly should I respond to you, given that for the first time, you're now the one manipulating me? It's not really manipulating at all. Who expected you to be out of town? What am I saying? There's only one answer. I already promised this to Sawako-san earlier, after all.
Haruki-kun? ちょっと聞いてる？春樹くんってば。
沢子さん。
何？
ありがとうございます。俺、頑張ってみます。
Even if you're being stubborn, I'll catch up to you. I'll show you that I can definitely make this absurd deadline that you've set for me.
Yoく来てくれたわね。
電車のダイヤめちゃくちゃだし、タクシーも全然進まないしで、ここまで来るのに3時間半もかかったわよ。
Ooh, what a good friend.
ありがとう、沢子。
それにしても何？編集部のみんなもまだ来れてないの？今どの辺だって連絡あった？
そっちはね、来ない。
なんで？万歳三唱とか胴上げとかどうするのよ？
編集長に頼んで秘密にしてもらった。私がこっちに帰ってることも、出発日が今日だってことも。
Aw, that's not nice. You should let people celebrate with you.
そんな。
見送りとかされても辛くなるだけだし、締めっぽいのは嫌だしね。
Well, they're certainly gonna be gloomy when they think, oh, she didn't care about us enough to want to say goodbye.
確かに鈴木ちゃんとかは泣きそうだよね。
She really does, though.
もちろん万歳三唱も胴上げもお断りだし。
寂しい旅立ちだね。見送りが友人一人と。
沢子が来てくれればそれでいい。他にはいいよ。
そっか。そっか。そう。大嘘つき。
Aww.
さっき春樹くんと連絡取ったわよ。あんた彼にだけは今日のこと教えたんでしょ？
Oh yes, they had a conversation.
そっか。 スキー行ってたんだ。いいな、気楽な大学生は。
彼マリのメールを見て急いでこっちに向かってる。でも雪のせいで間に合わないかもしれない。なんで日本に着いた時にすぐ連絡しないのよ。そしたらこんなことにはならなかったのに。
Well, she was being indecisive, which as we know is the worst thing to do in this game.
ずっと予定が詰まってたんだ。すぐ連絡したところで会える時間なんかなかった。だからしなかっただけだ。
とにかく悪い偶然が重なりすぎてるよ。ねえマリー、今日は飛ぶのやめない？
何言ってんのよ、サバコ。
もう一度よく考え直してよ。仕事も恋も両方取るのがあんたのポリシーなんじゃなかったの？ね、マリー、意地張ってないで。春樹くんに電話しよう。
私やっぱり行くよ。まあ飛行機が飛んでくれたらだけどね。
どうしてよ。もう二度と会えなくなっちゃうかもしれないのよ。それもたまたま今日雪が降ったってだけの理由で。
だとしてもそれも運命なんだよ、私たちの。
No, fate is not real. You make your own fate. You make your own future.
お待たせいたしました。滑走路の除雪作業が終了いたしましたので、ただいまより各便の搭乗手続きを開始いたします。
No.
どうやらそういうことらしいわね。
You're literally choosing this. Before I knew it, the sky that I saw from the station platform had cleared up. Chances are I can't hope for the flights to be suspended anymore. I have to put all of my strength into catching up. I break out into a full sprint on the Chuo Line's platform, pass through the ticket gate, and head toward the final platform transfer, all while running with all the strength I have left. The last train left headed to my destination is the airport-bound express. If this train leaves the station according to schedule and without delay, if that happens, maybe I...
ウエストバージニア航空302便ニューヨーク行きはただいまご搭乗の最終案内をいたしております。お客様は90番ゲートよりお急ぎご搭乗ください。
北原が間に合わないのも運命。私の乗る飛行機が帝国通りに飛ぶのも。
マリー、
今日に限ってあいつがスキーに行ってたのも、東京に雪が降ったのも、そのせいで電車が遅れたのも。だったら私はさ、その運命を受け入れるしかないじゃないか。
No! What sense does that make? You have two options in front of you.
じゃあさ、もし北原くんが間に合ったらそれも運命よね。その時は運命を受け入れるのよね。
来ないよ、サワコ。来るわけないじゃないか。
Time to rent one of those airport scooters and go zoom zoom.
間に合うわよ。もうすぐ来るに決まってるわよ。
もう12時半だけど。じゃあそろそろ行く。
もうちょっと、あとほんの少しだけ。
無駄だって。もう
無駄じゃないわよ。
どのみちタイムリミット。ゲームセットよ。じゃあね、サワコ。しばらく会えなくなるけど元気でね。
夏に遊びに行く。
Hmm.
待ってる。
No! Almost. Almost there. As soon as I get up this escalator, I'll arrive at the airport. Please let me make it. Please let me make it in time. I'll definitely catch up to you, Mari-san.
この電話は電波の届かないところにあるか電源が切られています。
いつでもつながるようにしとけと言っただろ。お前なんて編集者失格だ。沢子の嘘つき。やっぱりダメだったじゃないか。
No.
どうされましたか？
Oh no.
来てくれないんだよ。
お客様？
なんでもありません。
でしたらこちらへお進みください。もうすぐ離陸ですから。
はい。
Here we go.
何やってんだ私は。とうとう耳までおかしくされたか。あいつに。
What a wild ride. What a troll.
マリさんマリさんマリさんマリさん
Oh. Oh. I have such warm goosebumps. The moment Mari-san widens her eyes upon noticing me, I brush my body against hers without the slightest hint of reservation, embracing her body with all the strength I can muster. Mari-san's body stiffens like a young girl's.
間に合った。よかった。
Furthermore, her voice rises, eliminating all traces of the composed, confident woman she is at work, leaving behind only someone who's deep in my embrace right now, quivering like a baby bird, my adorable and beloved girlfriend. Oh!
マリさん、俺。マリさん。
待て。
However, the moment our eyes lock onto each other's, as our lips naturally inch closer together,
どうし。
これは何の冗談だ。
Mari-san changes her mind, stopping me before our lips could touch.
冗談なんて、俺本気で。
そういう問題じゃないだろ。
じゃあ一体。
だってここニューヨークだぞ。アメリカなんだぞ。
Aww.
ニューヨークですね。
なんでお前がここにいる。どうやって飛んできたんだ。
マリさんの言う通り飛んで。
ごまかすな。ふざけるな。そうやっていつも年上の女をからかって楽しいか。私は。
ごめんなさい、マリさん。
Aww. I I put my strength into my hands in an attempt to convey my intention to atone to her, though Mari-san struggles a little within my grasp, as if she feels reluctant. However, the strength she's putting into her struggle doesn't suggest that she has any intention of wrenching my hands off of her.
意味わからないよ。どうしてお前こんなところまで私を追って。本当はツッコミどころはそこじゃないのに。
The moment Mari-san's hands escaped my grasp, I understood her true intention. Her hands are now tightly wrapped around my back. I had my passport right from the start. Reluctantly, I had acquired it last year under Mari-san's threat of, you might have to go on an overseas trips, even if you're a part-timer. As for the visa and the rest of the necessary procedures, I had them sorted out on the day I fell out with Mari-san. At that time, I couldn't see it being the end of our relationship, but I had yet to convey to her that we had to see each other. Everything I've done is linked together now. What I'd done back then did not end up in futility after all. Haruki is so good.
11時台のデトロイト行きに乗って、そこからニューヨークの国内線で。
そんな。
I left Japan earlier than Mari-san did. Attempting to escape Tokyo's snow would have been hopeless. That's why I'd rushed toward Nagoya right from the start. It would have taken approximately 12.5 hours to reach New York from Narita Airport. Taking the Detroit flight from Chubu would have taken an hour less. Adding together the commute and embarkation times of that domestic airline, I determined that it would take roughly the same amount of time to get here. This was the plan I had devised with Sawako-san. Actually, I unquestionably owe all of this to her, given her role as a travel agent, and it was why she managed to arrange the proper route and prepare the tickets for me.
Sawako! あいつ、あの時全部知ってて。
Aww. I indiscreetly brushed my cheeks against Mari-san's yet again, finding her begrudging tone rather endearing.
間に合いましたよね、俺。
だかな。だって今は。
3月1日の12時半です。
Aww, because of the time difference. Going from Narita to New York takes about 12.5 hours. Tokyo is 14 hours ahead of New York. Which means that right now...
詭弁だそんなの。
マリさんだってやるじゃないですか。真の締め切りってやつです。
Like negotiating with the president of the printing company, buying the manuscript herself, and extending the deadline for several more hours. In addition to all the other things there, just how many days in succession did we stay up all night, laughing and talking afterward?
俺、マリさんの背中を見て育ったんですよ。こんなことぐらいわけないですよ。
そんなの私だって2、3回しかしてない。
とにかく俺、追いついたんです。マリさんに答えを伝えるために。
As I let those words out of my mouth, Mari-san's body, which I held so firmly in my arms, began to twitch and shake at once. It's all because of that. The reason I chased after Mari-san in desperation, the thing that caused us to be separated.
マリさん、俺。
待って。心の準備が。
俺、やっぱり遠距離は無理です。そばにいないと、いつでも会えないとダメなんです。
Once again, Mari-san shook more than before, though her shivers remained light. But
だからここに来たんです。
The moment she heard my next words, the trembling went away, and she looked at my face, puzzled.
俺は自分の道を行きます。マリさんについていくっていう自分だけの道を。
Oh.
それってどういう意味？
どういう意味でしょうね。
The "what do you mean" that Mari-san said had neither expectation nor anxiety within it. She genuinely cannot understand my words, which makes me think that they came out with a strong and weird accent.
まさかお前、私の紐になるつもりなのか？
本当にわかりません。今は何も決まってないんです。
House husband! I haven't decided on where to study, where I'm going to live, or even my life from here on out either. Without settling on anything, I boarded a plane and flew all the way here, all so I could catch Mari-san. There was only one thing I could do in Japan, and that was to break away from the past. Honestly, kudos. Finally.
今の俺にあるのは将来性だけです。
It's a classic, reckless act of a ruined young man with no plans or outlook for the future. A textbook example of a loser who ended up straying from his intended path due to his obsession with a woman.
そんなの北原らしくないぞ。
Despite saying that, I feel no wavering from the strength of her arms wrapped around my back. On the contrary, her grip grew tighter, as though she would never let go.
そういう俺は嫌いですか？
私が嫌いだと言ったらどうするつもりなんだよ。
その時は
その先は言うな。私がそんなこと見過ごせるとでも思ってるのか？卑怯だ。卑怯だぞ。北原。
すいません。
As if she had anticipated my answer, Mari-san stops me from answering. In other words, by her hand, I'm now branded as a good-for-nothing, cowardly, and thoughtless freeloader. I've become everything to Mari-san. Oh.
日本食が恋しいな。
来たばかりじゃないですか。
鍋食べたいな。
じゃあ今夜。
We continued our embrace for several minutes in the airport lobby. Even though we were fully aware that we were not in Japan right now, and with our luggage tucked between our legs.
なあ、北原。
何ですか、マリさん。
大学だけは出ておけよ。
もちろんです。しばらく休学するか留学するか考えます。
Be an interesting experience.
あと自分の食いぶちくらいは稼げよ。部屋代は心配する必要ないけど。
バイト先も欲しいですね。日本語がわかる上司なんかいると理想なんですが。
一つだけ心当たりがあるが、多分こき使われるぞ。
役に立ってみせますよ。
ならよし。
Aww. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for being here with me on Mari-san's route from White Album 2's closing chapter, and I'll be back to you with all the other side heroines' routes as well as the normal routes, so I hope to see you there. And until then, I genuinely, truly hope you take care. See you!